Hello, loves. How is everybody? I hope you're all well. Welcome back to this channel. So I wanted to connect with you, and something that's been coming to my awareness the last couple of days around how we pretend that we're okay when we're not. And somehow there seems to be like a real problem that a lot of us have in actually sharing how we truly feel, or just being transparent with that. Okay, so it's very easy to get into a kind of habit of just saying yeah, I'm fine. Okay, and there's really a vulnerability, sometimes a real issue, when we can when we think about when we think about really being honest. Now there is a sort of a preface to this where, oh, I do agree, and I've noticed myself as well that there can be a not very great experience. And actually I was talking to a friend about this yesterday, and she said because she'd got a lot better recently, she basically started sharing things with people at work that, not intentionally, but like when you get comfortable with people and you feel like you know them a bit better, and then they ask you how you are, and you are really honest, and they kind of either compare themselves or don't really receive. So yes, there is a space where I think the realization that a lot of us have shut down or got into that autopilot mode where we just say, yeah, I'm fine all the time, because maybe we haven't been received, or because we may have shared ourselves with somebody who isn't able, right, to actually listen. A lot of people don't have listening skills. So I get it. But just a kind of reminder that really to find a trusted space, even if it's just one, and it may not be people that we're really close to either. And, if you're sitting thinking, well, I don't have that trusted space, I get that as well. I really do. Asking inside though, or maybe checking inside where we have shut down to that communication, because it's like if we have failed relationships, or we feel as if, nothing's working, I can't find any, there's no trust, I can't find a relationship that's a match for me. So then we kind of just give up on love. And it's that kind of energy where we can very easily, through a negative experience, shut down to the communication, shut down to allowing ourselves to be vulnerable, because it feels too scary to go into a place where it's like almost like a tidal wave of some sort of disappointed, hurt feeling when we're not received and we're not met. So I get it as to why it happens. But really, things change all the time and spaces open up all the time. And to be a little bit fluid, to check in with where we have shut down our willingness to be vulnerable because we haven't been received in the past. Maybe our own family. I mean, they could have been the ones who caused us to feel that way in the first place, yeah, or where we've experienced our trauma. The point of that I'm making is the people that we know the best, talk to the most, and are supposed to be able to trust, are often not the people. They're often where we have received this shutdown, or this block, or this lack of listening and understanding. But don't shut it down completely, because in the ability to truly say how you feel and be willing to be vulnerable, never give up on the possibility of the reciprocation, because more and more people are becoming more authentic to themselves, and in this life more and more people are awakening, and more people, I believe, genuinely do wish to open up themselves and also be a support for others. If we shut ourselves down completely through a kind of decision that we make, where it's like, right, that isn't safe, no one's listening, no one cares, we can get in a very black and white way of thinking about things, and actually then we're closing down a lot of possibilities. Okay, And I truly believe that to stay open, yes, be discerning, be very discerning. And, you know, it may be absolutely true for you that right at this moment in your life, there is nobody that you feel actually listens to you. And acknowledging that, okay, but that won't be the case forever. It will not be the case forever. But if you close yourself down to it, the same as closing yourself down to love, then you're literally taking away that opportunity. So you don't have to close yourself down if you exercise discernment. And, you know, at some point or the other, if you can keep an open heart in a lot of ways, sometimes our suffering in the mind causes us to close our heart down, or suffering in any way. We kind of block ourselves off a little bit. And really, I think it's key that we don't completely. I think it's key that we, at least even in our deepest hurt, just keep a mind that, do you know what? It's not going to be this way forever. It isn't. If there's one guaranteed thing in life, is that everything changes all the time. And that includes everything, the internal state, circumstances, people. That's one guaranteed thing in this life, right? Is that everything is in flux. Nothing stays the same forever. And that goes for good and bad, for better and worse. So try to stay in a receptivity to yourself. And if you're not being received at the moment, I mean, there's plenty of if we stay open, we will find somewhere. We will. We'll find an ear that truly cares. We'll find somebody who's capable of listening. There are people like that out there. Just the same as there is a perfect love match for you if you don't shut your heart off. So, you know, knowing that we've kind of, in my opinion, I think we kind of have a responsibility to ourselves, not to shut ourselves down completely, and to keep an open mind, heart about the possibility of change. Because we never are a static being, and we're never done. Like, every day has a new possibility. Every day is the potential for that tiny little shift. And yeah, a lot of what we've been through. Now, I'm not suggesting that if someone asks you how you are in the shop, that you kind of, you know, give over the deepest, darkest thoughts in your mind. It may not be appropriate. And obviously a lot of people out there is this taboo thing. And people are like, oh, you know, okay, they don't necessarily want to hear the ins and outs of it all. So again, yeah, maybe a bit of discernment, but don't shut it down completely. Because more and more people are opening to themselves, to new possibilities, to new conversations all of the time. And this world, the things that have kept things in the dark, you know, the judgment, the energy of judgment that upholds the taboo, the stigma, and all of that old way of being, it is dismantling. It is. The more conversations that are had, the more people that are doing the healing work themselves, the more people that are opening up to help others through their wisdom and experience, it's changing the frequency of this planet. And you're not going to lose anything or be any less than. You know, there's a lot of attachments, isn't there? If you're vulnerable, it's weak. It's absolute rubbish. That's one of the biggest lies, that vulnerability is somehow weak. It's a massive lie, especially, you know, for men. A lot of men have experienced that in some way. It's like, oh, in the old macho paradigm of what it is to be masculine. If a man's sensitive, shows that essence of sensitivity and vulnerability and talking, they're somehow, you know, criticised or put down for it. That is a shame that has happened, but we have to rise through that by not being ashamed of ourselves, because all of these things and ways of being are held in place by the energy of it, by judgment and shame. And we've got to slay that shit. Like, there's nothing for us to be ashamed about. And shame is a dead, inorganic frequency that is not serving humanity or any individual to hold. But if we go on holding that ourselves, perpetuating it ourselves and buying into it and feeling ashamed of ourselves, our past and who we are and how we feel and how we think, we're only keeping ourselves in that space. So yes, it does take a bit of courage to be that more vulnerable. And yes, we do have to exercise a bit of discernment, but never ever get stuck in that space that it's not okay to talk. It's not okay to be who you are. And if you're not received in the company and your family and who's already there, find new company, find new spaces, new friends, new groups like this one. And I know this isn't a community in the sense that we're not live together, or and that may come, right? This is early stages, early doors. It's just the beginning. It's kind of a conception at the moment for me. It's a bit of a trial in a way. But please feel free to put heart-centered, respectful comments. I'm quite intolerant. I'm quite fiercely boundaried around projection, around split. I won't have, and I said this in the first video, trauma and wounding projection. We've all got trauma and wounding, and it's not the space to put it in that way. There's a complete difference between sharing from your heart, this is what's real for me, and sort of dumping in a projection way, okay, whilst it's not really engaging in the message. Then it's just kind of like, I'm just going to pick out one thing and then it's a different energy. So you tap into your heart and share, but I am here for all of it. If something is shared from a respectful place, from the heart, and a mature space, in other words, it's said in a way that I can see that somebody's checked in and they're genuinely sharing from their heart, I will support you all day long. Okay, and I'm here for all of it. I'm here for however dark, anything. But there's a discernment piece there as well, isn't it? And I'm sure that you know what I'm saying. I'm sure you know what I'm talking about, and you've probably noticed the difference on social media or in people's comments and feeds, the difference between people who share stuff. People can share the darkest, deepest stuff in a way that doesn't try to make themselves a victim or make someone else responsible for it. They're just sharing in a way that could be, it's relieving themselves, it's sharing the energy. That's being vulnerable in the most open and beautiful sense of the word, without trying to make somebody else feel responsible for it, right? So check in with the heart, and we're up for it all here, okay, from that heart awakened space. So I'm sending you so much love. And yeah, if there's anything that is alive for you that you would like a conversation around to flow, to weave with, to expand upon, please do put that in the comments as well, or share that, and I'm more than happy to dive into that with you. So yeah, I love you. Until next time.